It's 11 a.m. here in Seoul. I'm Oh Soo-young at the Arirang News Center. We're breaking into our regular programming to bring you a live briefing from the South Korean health authorities on the coronavirus outbreak here in the nation. In just a few moments, we're going to cut into the briefing at the Sejong Government Complex with simultaneous interpretation available for you in English. We're going to go into the briefing room now, where Yoon Tae-oh, Director General of Public Health Policy, will be sharing the latest figures and updates on the COVID-19 situation in Korea. And it should be especially interesting as we've been seeing cluster infections for the last few weeks. And he will be telling us how many additional infection cases there have been in the country, as well as updating us on the death toll. The official is now making his way to the podium, and it looks like the briefing is just about to begin.
Let us now begin our regular briefing for June 15th, Monday. As of today midnight, we have 37 new cases. Out of them, 24 are local transmissions and 13 are imported cases. As of today midnight, we have a total number of confirmed cases that's standing at 12,121. A total of 10,730 have been discharged following full recovery, while 1,114 people are in quarantine undergoing treatment. The death toll remains unchanged at 277. This morning, the KCC held a meeting presided over by Health Minister Bang Neung-woo. We discussed issues along with the 17 municipal governments, and we reviewed the quarantine measures in the metropolitan area, as well as our intensified measures put in place in the Seoul metropolitan area. Health Minister Park has emphasized that after May, most of the cases were clustered in the metropolitan area, and he stressed that starting from today, the intensified quarantine measures put in place in the Seoul metropolitan area will be extended, and he stressed that we will put our utmost efforts to curb the further spread of the cluster infections that is happening in the metropolitan area. And he said that we cannot let our guards down as of yet, even though a lot of the schools have restarted their offline classes nationwide, and he once again asked for the participation of the residents living in the metropolitan area. Here are the updates on domestic infections. Out of the 37 imported cases, 24 were local transmissions, and of them, 27 were concentrated in the metropolitan area. Recently, we see that most of the cluster infections are concentrated in the metropolitan area, and however, after the 8th of May, we see the risks of infection in the metropolitan area even enhancing despite our intensified measures. And also, the average confirmed case of the COVID-19 has increased twofolds in the Seoul metropolitan area during the past 2 weeks, and we see that this translates into from 24th of May that we have 30 of the confirmed patients on average, which also increased slightly to 34. And we are more concerned of a sporadic cluster outbreak in the metropolitan area, which is having a chain of transmissions, and most of them are concentrated in the elderly facilities, including the nursing hospitals and nursing homes. We are exerting our full efforts to trace our contacts and trace the confirmed cases. However, we have challenges and difficulties as the spread of infection is faster. We are also intensifying our inspection for the 8 high-risk facilities, including PC rooms, bars, and singing rooms. And we also mandated QR code entry logs for these high-risk facilities, as well as after-school private academies. And we also agreed to give out more detailed protocols on quarantine for these facilities. And we need to cooperate with the public going forward to curb the further spread of the COVID-19 across the metropolitan area. We need to utilize all our means possible and to increase the speed of tracking that is done by the quarantine authorities. And under these aim, we have put in place a 2-week-long intensified quarantine measures in the metropolitan area. However, this has been extended indefinitely until daily confirmed case increase hovers around 1 digit. And we are closely cooperating with the Labor Ministry as well, and the screening system and screening test for the public servants, which had a test applicant of over 1.4 million nationwide. We have carried out this testing for a 5-day span, and we are also collaborating with the Marine Ministry as well, and we are also intensifying our quarantine measures on each of these multi-use facilities, and we will also carry out inspection on the multi-use facilities going forward. And we are also closely cooperating with the Communication Commission, and this has also deleted the outdated information on the confirmed cases amounting to about 1,800. And we have conducted closely with the police department, and also we have identified the cases of breaches on the Act of Protection against infectious diseases, and we are also collaborating closely with the fire department, and they have successfully transferred about 48,000 people to the hospitals nationwide. Likewise, we are also collaborating closely with the local governments, and Seoul City also conducted a close inspection on the private academies, as well as some 700 small-sized private academies. And we are also conducting close inspection and also wide-range diagnostic testings of the testings for COVID-19 for people who are working at the private academies and who are staying at the dormitories of the large-scale private academies. And we are also collaborating with the Incheon city government to inspect the multi-use facilities, including PC rooms and singing rooms as well. And with Gyeonggi-do province, we have also put in place administrative order of 1,800 multi-use facilities, including wedding halls and other event halls as well. And we are going to expand our collaboration going forward. And we believe that the COVID-19 will be prolonged for a time period, and in order to resume our daily routine for our students, we need to continue to comply with the self-quarantine measures going forward. And we would like to ask once again the residents living in the metropolitan area to wear your face masks at all times and distance yourselves with others, and please practice personal hygiene measures and quarantine measures. And please refrain from going to enclosed and close contact places that are frequented by people. Thank you very much.
That was a live briefing you just heard from the South Korean health authorities there. We just heard that there were 37 additional infection cases of COVID-19 in the country, bringing the accumulated total to 12,121. There were no additional deaths, meaning that the death toll stands at 277. Well, that wraps up our coverage of this morning's briefing. Thank you very much for staying with us, and we'll be back shortly with our regular midday newscast at 12 p.m. Korea time. Bye for now.